One, two, three. I just did that to sync my audio and video because for some reason my laptop decided that the display was just too good to be true. So the display's out. I can't record much because there's like construction going around me, and I'm very sure you can hear all of that. And you might have noticed things look different around here. Yay! Well, it's because construction and all that weird stuff. Anyways, I haven't recorded in a while, right? And you probably don't know me. Hi, I am. You don't need to know who I am. So, I haven't recorded in a while, even though it will seem like, I'm doing daily stuff. There's pre-recorded stuff, right? It's scheduled to go daily, but I haven't recorded in like 2 weeks. Okay, my voice might be different, face might look different, whatever it is, different. And the thing is, while I was gone, right, it was because there was some functions I had to go to my village, everything, right? But I'm back. I'm chill. And I relapsed, okay? I, preacher, promoter of good habits, went back to the lifestyle I was living, went back to that lifestyle I had before the whole self-improvement thing happened. Right? I don't mean the lifestyle in terms of just being lazy, snooping around, no. I have my daily stuff, right? I have the daily work, but I had this video called Less is More, and I had this another video called Abstinence versus, what's the thing? Moderation, yeah. And in those videos, I just expressed my feelings and talked about topics. These topics about how instead of just doing more good stuff, people should focus on doing less of the bad stuff. Because the implications of the bad stuff, the consequences of the bad stuff would mean there's more bad stuff in the world. Whereas if there's no good stuff you're doing, at least it's neutral, right? As long as you're not hurting someone, it's fine. But I raised this argument to myself when I relapsed to my bad habits again. My bad habits, I'm not going to mention what they are, but you can assume what they are. Well, don't assume, don't judge. But yeah, they are bad habits. I'll just throw it out there. I scroll a lot. Right? And you have heard this. If you watched me, you know what I'm talking about. I pretty much talk about my scrolling addiction the whole time. Right? Anyways, so I relapsed, and it was partly because of the insomnia. I had trouble sleeping and I relapsed and back to my bad habits. Let me get to the point. Stop. Right? You just have to stop justifying the bad shit you're doing. I justified the bad shit I was doing by telling myself that it's the only thing that gives me comfort, so I'm going to do it to keep myself happy. But when you excuse yourself for that, you do feel happiness in the moment you're doing the thing. But after that, gone. Right? After that, you're just regretting the choices you made, the stupid stuff, And the thing is, right, you are not your traumas, right? I am not my traumas, right? Bad stuff happened. Bad stuff happens to everyone. For some people, it's like extremely bad stuff. For some people, it's a little, but bad stuff happens to everyone. And since everyone is living their own life, everyone thinks their bad stuff is the worst stuff because that's the worst stuff they've experienced, of course. But what I've realized is, my parents, they have their bad habits, they have their flaws, okay? They have those flaws because their parents had some other flaws, or maybe the same ones. And due to that stuff, the bad stuff their parents were doing, they developed their own sort of bad stuff. And because of that, now I've developed more of my bad stuff. And the cycle, I need to stop it because I want to be a good dad, right? And it's not like, my father has oftentimes said to me that don't be like me, don't be like who I am. But that doesn't work with kids, right? That doesn't work with kids. Of course not. Thing is, if you're living with a kid, right? Just imagine, you have a kid. You're living with this person for what? All their life? Right? They're 24/7 with you at home, whatever it is. Of course they're going to see what you are. Of course they're going to know you, right? You can't hide stuff from your children, especially not your bad stuff. Right? You can hide how much wealth you have, but the bad habits, the bad personality, the bad parts of your personality, they will always find some way to see through the cracks and show themselves. Right? Maybe you're angry, right? Maybe you are very wrathful, maybe jealous, maybe lazy. Your kids are going to see that, and they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it, okay? And maybe they develop the same bad habits, and we don't want that to happen, do we? I don't want my kids to develop the same bad habits I have, and that wouldn't even make any sense because they haven't experienced the same stuff I have to resort to those bad habits. So for them, it's just no trauma relating to said substance, but they still have the bad habit because of who? Because of me, this guy. And I don't want that to happen. So I am going to break the cycle, right? And you should too. right? You should break the cycle of going through trauma, responding to it in a bad way, and then justifying it by saying, oh, since everyone's imperfect, everyone has flaws, maybe I do too. And it's like, everyone has flaws, yes, sure, but they don't have to be active. They don't have to influence your decisions. They don't have to influence your lifestyle, right? I went back. I was satisfied in the moment, right? In those moments where I'm scrolling, where I'm being lazy, when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, it feels good. Of course it does. But later, it does feel bad, And people know when they're doing the good or bad thing. Like, we just know, right? I know, and you do too. You know what you're doing, whether it will be good for you or bad for you. Even though it may not work out for you, it's still good for you because you did the thing, right? And I just hate it when I am trying to sabotage myself, and I'm pretty sure you do too, don't you? Like, don't you just hate it when you know you're not supposed to be doing this, you know you're supposed to be working, studying, whatever it is, and you just don't do it for some goddamn reason? And it's like, intuition is a blessing, but it can also be a curse, right? Anyway, the thing is, your children will have to face the battles you don't. And I am tired, right? I am tired of just being the dude who's lived 16 years on this planet, right? 16 years of life experience, who still isn't fixing the problems within himself, right? I have fixed problems outside. I'm fixing my face, even though it doesn't look like it. I am, kinda. I'm fixing my body. Of course, I'm not gonna just rip my shirt off and show you my big muscles, but I am fixing it. And by fixing, I mean improving. Of course, there's only a little bit wrong with it, but sure. Thing is, I am fixing the stuff outside, but it still feels like I am lacking somewhere, like mentally inside. It's like I am resorting to my old habits still for comfort, but the thing that gave me the traumas, that thing doesn't exist anymore. That's in the past. That happened. And the thing, the habits I caught because of that, because of all the bad things, they're not leaving me behind, and it's more like I'm not leaving those habits behind, because I want to be stuck in the past for some reason. Change is scary, right? Change is scary, but I would rather have that scare me than have the future of my child not being promising scare me, right? I would rather face my own problems. I would rather face my own battles, just fix myself, change, just change. Because I don't hate it, but I'm not certainly happy with this guy being a dad, and that pisses me off, because it's like, I can tell myself I have time, but what if I run out of time? Right? What if I'm 28 years old, married, I want to have a kid, but I just don't feel like I'm even close to being enough of a father figure, right? I mean, it's so dumb, isn't it? It's so dumb. Like, I just want to live like a good dad would. I just want to live like someone who a kid can look up to, instead of someone who the kid will look up to and fail, because this dude is a piece of shit who is just incapable of being a parent because of the bad stuff he's doing, because of the scrolling, the stupid screen times, the not working, the everything. I don't want it. But it's like, I don't, it doesn't occur to me when I'm resorting to those bad habits, right? When I'm doing the bad shit, all this shit I'm saying, I just forget it. I just forget about it, or I find some damn stupid way to justify it. And it's like, I'm working against me here, and I do want to protect my kids and my future life from all these bad things. But if I'm the one doing all the bad things, then what can I even say? What can I even say? I can't even, this whole thing, this YouTube channel I've made, right? If it's to document my self-improvement journey, is to help you have your self-improvement, it's to give value, because it's supposed to be a good thing. But what right do I have to try to shout out self-improvement advice, to talk on all these sensitive topics, if it's been how long since I've made this channel? I made this in March 2025. March, April, May, June, end of July right now. 4 months, and it's supposed to end in 2. 4 months in, we are more than halfway through, and even though I have fixed stuff, there's still so much to do. There's so much to do, and I don't feel like I have the right to say anything. I don't feel like I have the right to express all these opinions when I am not able to exercise them myself still? And I don't want to give myself this excuse that I'm only 16, I'm just a kid, why should I have to go all to do all this. I don't want that. I want to be better, and I want to be better now. Where it's like, oh, my frontal lobe isn't fully developed and I'm still an idiot, and this is all on. And you know what? This crash out I just had, it was all control. You see, I have my anger in control now. Whatever you just saw me do, me with hyper fixating on things, wasn't true. I am chill. But I did that angry stuff to emphasize the way I feel about how I'm slightly off track still. And I want to get on track. But it feels like I'm riding a bicycle. And I want to learn how to fly a plane. Good night.
I just did that to